This organized chaos video is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Okay, we'll look at Obi-Wan.
There's a new joke going around. What is the...
Let's make sure chat's still rolling. He does reviews on his live streams now. Does he do any reviews? Because I'm sure he will do, like, chats on his live streams, but does he do, I think he would still do these edited reviews. These things get decent view numbers. But let's see.
5 fingers, say to the face! Slap! Bang, bang!
Nerdrotic doc.
Random sounds. Ding. Oh, 2.
Color me surprised. Kenobi has been fascinating to watch. No, not the show. Disney failing. Hell, if I'm making another Disney Star Wars video, things must be bad. And if you're a fan like me of Disney shows...
I don't really want to do any more Nerdrotic after this. We'll do some requests outside of Nerdrotic. However, I'm going to do the same thing on Tuesday. I'm going to cover some more Nerdrotic then. So yeah, we can do some of the Doctor Who stuff then.
Schadenfreude, it's Christmas. This is unprecedented for D+. Currently, we have a Disney Star Wars product and a Disney Marvel product on the Disney product streaming service, and they're both failing and forgettable. All in a week where Bob...
Miss Marvel didn't do great, to my understanding, but I think Obi-Wan Kenobi did really well, so hey.
Chapek went all Game of Thrones on Peter Rice, the head of Disney's TV division, and replaced him with his own assistant. And the stock tanking is just that cherry on top. But back to Kenobi. How much worse can things get after episode 3? Much worse. I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't know already, especially after 10 years, but Disney is very bad at making Disney Star Wars and television in general. Kenobi is the last Jedi for the prequels. But I don't want to bury the lead here. In some circles on Twitter, the most controversial thing about the 4th episode was hiding Leia under a trench coat. While that is one of the dumbest things I've seen in Disney Star Wars, and I've seen a lot of it, I would say it's not that unusual for a Disney employee to be hiding a 10-year-old under a trench coat. So little 10...
Wait, are you trying to say these are Disney employees? Are these Disney employees? What's your source? Are you saying these are all Disney employees? You're at least implying that.
That unusual for a Disney employee to be hiding a 10-year-old under a trench coat. So little 10-year-old Leia who runs like...
Liam is saying Miss Marvel's problem was that it was premiered at the same time as Obi-Wan and if it was released a few months before, it would do better. Potentially, yeah. It was interesting how they did it because not only did they release it during while Kenobi was on, they did it the same day. Which, like, they didn't premiere them on the same day, but they were releasing new episodes on the same day, which was a weird idea. But yeah, if they're going to do new series, especially series that are probably going to capture a lot of the similar audience, probably a good idea to separate them out a bit.
Like a toddler, but was still able to outrun full-grown adult species, gets kidnapped even though she shouldn't be in this show at all.
So is this a review of episode 4? Or is this a review of the whole series? I have no idea. Okay, cool. Whatever.
Leads Bail Organa, who completely failed at his one job, to go to Obi-Wan Kenobi to get him to fail at his one job. Culminating in the rematch of the century that never should have happened, Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, the single worst lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars.
Yes, between Darth Vader, who... Darth Vader, who was acting like just like a petulant child, which, I mean, to a degree he was. He was just kind of after revenge on Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan, who had largely disconnected himself from the Force and wasn't 100% there. But hey, sure.
All these events in the first 3 episodes conspired to create more contradictions than the Amber Heard defense. Of course, at the end of the 3rd episode, little Princess Leia gets kidnapped again by Reva, played by the master thespian Moses Ingram.
Obi-Wan is dead.
What was wrong with that delivery? That was... Jesus Christ, bro. I'm sure I have something in here about just being fucking sexist. Scared of women. That would qualify that as scared of women. Yeah, mean-spirited clips. Complain about... I'll qualify that. Yeah, that has quite a few right there. Jesus. This dude's ridiculous, man.
Start the 4th episode with a bacta tank because we haven't seen enough of those in Disney Star Wars series lately. Then we
Cool story, man. Cool story.
Spend the next 10 minutes trying to figure out how they're going to break into the Transamerica building. With Ice Cube's son, we also find out that this little base has T-47s and they're used to haul sewage, so that technically makes them sewage speeders. You know, there's nothing like seeing 2 great actors play off each other, like Walken and Hopper in True Romance or De Niro and Pacino in Heat. And you get the exact opposite with this interrogation scene between Moses Ingram and Vivian Blair. I don't know why I keep trying to apply.
I mean, number 1, it was a different style scene because she's a fucking child. And number 2, it was fine. Like, their performances were fine, but it's obviously going to be a different tone because she's a fucking child.
Logic to the show, but instead of using this interrogation scene to maybe learn more about this brand new character, Reva, the formidable inquisitor who's having trouble breaking a 10-year-old, nope, it's predictable, it's by the numbers, and it just serves as filler as Obi-Wan bumbles around the Transamerica building. Speaking of Obi-Wan bumbling around the Transamerica building, the Inquisitorius Fortress or Fortress Inquisitorius, whatever the hell it's called, we get the first of a couple of scenes that really encapsulates Disney Star Wars. A bunch of dead Jedi encased in amber. I half expected to see George Lucas in one of these. Reva gets interrupted torturing little Leia.
I don't even know what your complaint is. Okay.
Yeah, because of course she's not going to get tortured. This is Disney Plus. And then we get a very sloppy rescue from Kenobi. This is directed like a student film. Not to be out.
That thing where, like, the lightsaber came on and he popped out and saved him. Like, you didn't see that much of it, but you saw a little bit in the clip because he didn't want to show it because it looks cool. But yeah.
Not to be outdone.
Let's show the little bit he shows, because like it's dark, and then you just see the lightsaber light up, and then he takes out the stormtroopers one at a time.
From Kenobi, this is directed like a student film. Not to be out.
It's not. It looks awesome.
Outdone.
Listen, man, not everything looks great in this series. That shot with him in the dark room, lighting up his lightsaber and taking out those stormtroopers was fucking cool.
Paula escapes by slapping a stormtrooper on the helmet. Who knew that was their only weakness besides not being able to shoot? Then the Empire finds out that there is indeed.
Yeah, no, there is wonky stuff in this series. I will give it to you, but can you actually like focus on that instead of just everything? Because there's plenty of good stuff in this series too.
A Jedi running around in the home base of the people whose sole purpose is to hunt Jedi. I can hear the Disney Star Wars fan.
Liam saying Gary wants to hurt children, especially female children. And Whitney saying he's into child torture. Listen, I don't think it's specifically children. I think it's just women. He's coming off like he really just is triggered by women and wants women to suffer. Every time a woman's on screen, he's just so goddamn triggered. It's ridiculous.
Fans now, but it's following the beats of A New Hope. Yeah, badly, and that's all Disney Star Wars can do in a decade is regurgitate a film from 1977. Let's get this over with because we still have another episode to cover. There's a lot of bad shooting, and Kenobi, who had trouble moving a little device on a table 5 minutes earlier, can now go full-blown Jedi. Then,
because he knew the Force, he just had to get used to it again. it wasn't like he was learning it from scratch. He already fucking knew it.
We get peak Disney.
Do you need a whole episode of him training? Do you need the Rocky montage for Obi-Wan learning shit he already fucking knows?
Star Wars as Tala, Kenobi, and...
Yeah, no, the Juice Main, I actually agree. The helmet slap is kind of cringe. The more I see it, it doesn't work. There are definitely elements of this series that don't work. The helmet slap doesn't really work. The Leia chase thing doesn't really work. And Rags, of all people, I'm going to use him in a positive light, because when I was reacting to his first video, and I think this was cut, he pointed out how it wouldn't have been better if it was simpler, and it made me thinking, oh yeah, maybe if she just walked around the corner, she sees Flea there looking menacingly, maybe even says something menacing, and then you instantly have a bag over her head. That could have been better than the chase scene they did for Leia. I feel a little cringe using Rags as an inspiration for maybe a better version of that scene. Maybe he even came up with it. I don't remember, but it would have been better than what they did. There are cringe moments in this series. Now, is this series the shit show they try to make out? No. There's lots of really good stuff in this series, too.
Leia reunite. They decide to hide Leia under a trench coat. I'm watching this scene again. This is so stupid. Meanwhile, nope.
It's a little wonky. I don't know what else they could do here. They're kind of fucked, and they just kind of have to roll with it until they're caught.
Nobody notices that giant lump on the right side of Kenobi and those 2 extra little feet.
I don't know what you do. Like, if you walk around with Leia, it's fucking Leia. They might recognize her. Maybe not. Maybe... I mean, she is in an Imperial outfit. Maybe it'd be better to just walk with her as a prisoner and pretend like she's a prisoner. I'm not sure.
And I love the Disney Star Wars fans' justification for this, and my good friend Mahler pointed this one out on Twitter. Star Wars has always been dumb. So they finally get caught, but then the stormtroopers and Reva conveniently wait for the sewage speeders to come in and save everybody. And no, I don't know why Reva runs like she's got a bad back. And
What?
Save everybody. And no, I don't know why Reva runs like she's got a bad back.
Can women not do anything without him complaining? What the fuck was wrong with that running?
Let's tip one out, or F's in the chat, for Wade's sacrifice. Who's Wade, you ask? Well, let's go over his entire journey. Don't worry, it won't take long. We'll miss you, homie.
Was that just supposed to be a joke? Or is that, like I don't... Gary, you're kind of breaking my brain right now. This is just fucking bad. Like, I'm trying to figure out, is that just a joke, or are you using it as a criticism against the series? If it's just a joke, okay, cool, it's a joke. But if, like, that's a legit criticism, that's a bullshit criticism, because, yeah, there's lots of little extra characters that, you know, get some background shit and then die. Star Wars movies are filled with characters like that.
Respect, Wade. You know, it wasn't enough to completely deconstruct Jake Kenobi and make him a loser. Now it's Darth Vader's turn. By the way, Reva took out Wade's sewage...
Gabriel McGee, has Nerdrotic ever had a girlfriend? If not, it would explain his abhorrent hatred of all women. To my understanding, he's married. I don't know what his wife thinks of his YouTube channel. Wouldn't it be hilarious if she doesn't even know what his YouTube channel is? It's like, oh, wow, my husband works on YouTube. He does all right. Hey, Gary, what do you do on YouTube? Oh, it's a cooking channel. I definitely don't say a whole bunch of sexist shit on it. It's a cooking channel. Don't look it up.
Speeder by flinging a car battery at him, but I guess she didn't need to do that with all the other sewage speeders. It'll be fine. Now remember, in the previous episode, Darth Vader mentioned that he would kill Reva if she screwed up one more time, and Darth Vader shows up and he starts choking her, and I'm liking this. But But it turns out that Reva's master plan is to fail at kidnapping Leia with Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers and then succeed by accidentally running into her again, bringing her back to the Transamerica building, knowing that little Leia would somehow get rescued by Tala and Kenobi and get away so she could plant a tracking device in little Leia's little droid. Vader then relents on choking her and positively affirms her, just like any good fan fiction would do. But not to worry, because this is all schemes within scams, and if you thought that one sounded dumb, wait till the 5th episode. Starts with a flashback where Hayden Christensen is back and he looks like a middle-aged 19-year-old. Guessing budgets aren't what they used to be at Disney Star Wars.
Okay. I mean, he looks fine. I mean, they're gonna do some de-aging. The dude is older. Did you know that 19-year-olds and, 40-year-olds look different? Isn't that weird? That's a weird thing, right? I didn't know they look different. Listen, you're not going to get 19-year-old Hayden Christensen again. So they're going to do what they can. And they brought him back, which is cool. He did a great job in this series. I really liked his stuff.
Wars. So little Leia's little droid turns evil, you can tell, because now the eyes are red and not blue. The droid not only serves as a tracker, it serves as a saboteur while locking down the facility with the refugees so the transports can't get away. I'll give you one guess who they send to fix the door, and no, it's not Ice Cube's son or an Eternal. Then, inexplicably, Bail Organa contacts Kenobi, and he starts the conversation by saying, "I know we meant to not have any contact, but I was getting worried because you didn't contact me." I'm sure that won't bite him in the ass later.
Yeah, it's almost like parents get nervous when their children are kidnapped and might occasionally do something dumb.
Basically, we spend the first 15 minutes of this 30-minute episode with exposition and filler. Reva and some...
Yeah, I agree, Liam. The fact they had Hayden in the Vader suit was awesome.
CGI stormtroopers arrive at a door that they can't shoot through with cannons, but apparently they can have a perfectly normal conversation through. And this is where we get the big reveal that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Reva was hunting Vader all along. She was indeed the youngling in the first episode, and apparently she survived, and she wanted to get revenge for all the children that Anakin killed by joining the Inquisitors and killing adults and children. This is signature Disney logic and morality.
This is a fair... I have issues with Reva's story, but the overall backbone, where it's essentially it's a Darth Vader style story, except she chooses not to go all the way to the dark side. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, she is a youngling that was left for dead but wasn't killed, and now she wants revenge on Vader for what happened. I'm fine with her story up to this point. There is some stuff towards the end I don't really get, but at this point I'm fine.
Then Reva tries to blame Order 66 on...
Yeah, I agree, Liam. I liked her backstory quite a bit.
On Kenobi, asking him what he was doing while his friends were getting killed. Almost getting killed. Then this show goes full Loki because, yes, I'm getting some serious Sylvie vibes from Reva. Abandoned to die.
I don't know why they get so triggered by Sylvie. Yes. So there is a woman that is a female dimensional double of Loki. Do we care? Why are you so triggered by that? So what?
Die as a child, taught herself all these force powers to infiltrate a giant organization only to destroy it. Reva breaks through the door. There's a big cave battle. The stormtroopers actually manage to shoot a couple of people, but not as many as they should have. But Tala gets the big hero moment here by blowing herself up with a thermal detonator. And I want you to remember thermal detonator. Now, Kenobi was begging Reva to join him, and he decides to give himself up to draw out Darth Vader so Reva can kill him. Then in a second scene that encapsulates everything that is Disney Star Wars, we see Kenobi...
Yeah, that's the thing. Sylvie and Reva are actually two completely different characters, too. It's a good point, Liam. You're coming in with the good points, Liam. Yeah, Whitney, Whitney saying she has no problem with the backstory. It's something that I know, Whitney, I could totally get behind it, because Obi-Wan Kenobi was not the perfect series at all. It definitely had wonky shit in it.
Neil to a woman once again, but this time it's Reva. And just like the door conversation, they start whispering to each other about betraying Darth Vader in front of all the stormtroopers, who at this point are just functionally retarded. Instead of keeping Kenobi on his knees surrounded by 60 CGI
You know, movies and stuff do that shit all the time. I'm not saying it's great, but they do that shit all the time.
stormtroopers, she sends him back into the caves with 2 so he can easily escape. Leia not only fixes her droid, which simply had a restraining bolt on it, she also fixes the door, and I'm surprised she didn't say, I bypassed the compressor. And the transport easily escapes because they used a...
I don't know why you're so triggered by her. Well, I don't even know why you need to bring up the Rey bypassing the compressor, because it was established in that movie that she lived on a junkyard. So it would make sense she learned how to get by on junk and modified stuff to get to work. It makes sense to have some engineering background, guys.
decoy ship, and, that giant area with the giant door where the ships are taking off was conveniently left alone by the Empire. Vader was able to use the Force to pull down the decoy ship. It was barely an inconvenience, but somehow he couldn't do it with the actual ship that got away. Reva then sneaks up on Vader, and of course, we get a better duel between Reva and Vader than Kenobi and Vader. Meanwhile, throughout the episode,
it's almost like that duel between Kenobi and Vader was meant to lead up to a better duel later. You are familiar that frequently when the villains and heroes meet up early in the story before the main conflict, usually the heroes don't do well. That's meant to raise the tension for the main conflict. It's a storytelling thing, dude.
So they're mixing in the training duel between Kenobi and the middle-aged...
Yeah, and this again, I'm agreeing with you, Liam. That thing with the Vader and the ship was pretty fucking cool. Yeah, Wallace and Gromit fan. That's the best thing I've heard. Yeah, Sylvie fights authority in the system while Reva fights authority in the system.
19-year-old Anakin Skywalker. All really driving home things we already knew. The things that led Anakin Skywalker to the dark side, being impulsive, always needing to win, not having control over his emotions. And just like when Anakin Skywalker ran through the young Reva and just left her to die without actually checking, he does that once again. He runs her through and leaves her to die without actually checking, but not before.
Yeah, it's a Star Wars thing.
Before we get the return of a big character. That's right, the Grand Inquisitor is back. How? I don't know. Apparently old Qui-Gon should have just shook it off. Oh, and yes, Vader knew all along that Reva was the youngling that he didn't quite kill during Order 66. How long did he know this? I don't know. Was he using Reva to draw out Kenobi? Okay, sure, but wouldn't he have access to the same information? Wouldn't the now alive Grand Inquisitor have access to the same information? And I guess Reva's big plan after surviving Order 66 was to train herself in the Force so she can join the Inquisitors to eventually find out the connection between Kenobi and Bail Organa, then set up the kidnapping of a girl she couldn't have possibly known about by hiring Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers to fail at a kidnapping that was meant to draw out Ben Kenobi, which they do.
This is not myth.
Only to let...
I like the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul references for no reason.
Kenobi and Leia get away, but then eventually run across Princess Leia randomly so they can take her back to the Transamerica building to draw out Kenobi once again so she can get closer to Darth Vader. Are you keeping up? The thing is, Reva was next to Darth Vader a couple of times, and a thermal detonator would have solved that problem easily. Reva has spent years killing...
Are we going to assume a thermal detonator would kill Vader? I guess maybe if you jump him with it, maybe, but I would not count on that.
Men, women, and children to get revenge on Vader for killing men, women, and children.
That doesn't make sense.
So basically, Darth Vader's a moron because once again, he leaves Reva to die, and of course she's not going to die. And there's just enough time to make Bail Organa and Kenobi look like morons one more time. Reva conveniently finds the communication device where Bail Organa blabs about Luke Skywalker, and the last scene is a little kid sleeping that doesn't look anything like Luke Skywalker. And surprise...
Yes. Let's complain about every little thing. Let's have fun.
As surprise, Disney Star Wars fans were once again sold a bill of goods. Classic.
Wait. Did he not bring up how Reva just randomly goes after Luke and it's not clear why she's going after Luke at all? Because that was a huge issue with that series. Like, I like what they do for a story, but, like, she just goes after Luke and it's like, why? Why are you going after Luke? Vader's your target. Why do you care about Luke? And he's not even going to touch on that.
Signature.
That drives me nuts. These guys like to whinge so hard on this series, and then they miss obvious fucking issues like that. Oh my fucking God.
Disney bait and switch. They were sold Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you got Tala and Reva, all in a compact 6-episode.
Oh yeah, did he not? I thought he covered episode 6, but maybe, did he not? I don't know. Yeah, maybe. So this is supposed to be his whole series sum up, but he never watched episode 6. These guys don't even fucking try. I swear to God.
Episode series filled with 30-minute episodes filled with filler. It's no wonder they came out swinging at the
bounding into comics. Great fucking source, bro.
Fandom before the show even came out because, again, they knew they had a giant turd, and the does not stop there. Let's go over to Rotten Tomatoes. It says it has 227 reviews at time of recording, and nothing is displayed, and this has been going on for days, and what's coincidental is the same thing is going on with Miss Marvel. 100.
Yeah, no, I used to find this very suspicious, and it's not clear why until you actually look into it. So the review there, you have to go to the individual episodes to see the actual reviews listed. The broad series overall will not show it. Let's see if I can bring up a good demonstration of that. So we'll go ahead and just debunk this one right now, because this is something I thought was very suspicious until I figured it out. So we'll just go right to the source. We'll bring up Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yeah, 82%. Let's go ahead and go into the reviews. Oh, there's no reviews. That's crazy. What's up with that? Well, let's see. Where can we look up the individual? Okay, here we go. Did that bring it up? Yeah, no, it makes it wonky. Oh, here we go. Episode part 1. So here's reviews for episode 1. And look, there are reviews. There are the reviews. So it's a bit layered. I will give him that it's a bit layered, but he's using the fact that Rotten Tomatoes is not well set up for this to excuse pretty much outright lying. Episode 2, 87%. And once again, reviews. Reviews. Look at that. Holy shit. So yeah, there are plenty of official critics' reviews on here.
181 reviews and not a single displayed critic or top critic. Yet you can see it.
See you later, Liam.
With all the other movies like Top Gun Maverick. Go see it. But I'm sure it's a big coincidence coming from the company that admitted openly that they changed their entire platform to protect Captain Marvel. Ultimately, Disney knows.
What? Trolls target female-led blockbuster ahead of Captain Marvel. Rotten Tomatoes shuts them down. Yes. Rotten Tomatoes said you can't actually post reviews of the movie before you've fucking seen it. Now, unfortunately, we can't really control that, but they could shut down the people who are reviewing it before it was even released.
Protect Captain Marvel. Ultimately, Disney knows they're producing crap because they're not producing entertainment or art. They're producing content for their platform, all in service of the message. There most certainly is an interesting Obi-Wan Kenobi story.
Okay, Sankara, how do you like getting EFAP'd? Not particularly well. It's kind of annoying. Not really the actual, video, because I don't really care about that. You want to make a video going after me, that's fine. They're fans. Get a bit obnoxious. As for talking to the guys, absolutely. I've brought up several times I'd like to talk to them. Mahler is too busy, apparently. And I keep on bringing it up during the Fandom Initiative streams because it's easier for me to queue up that clip because I don't have it's tougher on OBS. But yeah, I would love to talk to them. They just gotta reach out to me. I've given them my email several times.
To tell, which can involve Darth Vader without them meeting. But did it really need Reva or Tala? Has Reva added to this story? Has she added to the character of Darth Vader? Has she complemented the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi or just taken screen time? Don't get mad at us.
Why are you so triggered by the character of Reva? There are going to be other characters in the Obi-Wan series besides Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan dominated it vastly.
Let's get mad at the writers who didn't feel like it was a worthy enough character to actually take the time to make her compelling.
Ewan.
I thought she was interesting, but, you're triggered by women, obviously, so hey.
And Hayden. You can't be a Star Wars fan and not want to see that again. But also the new characters, the new energy, being able to add new stuff to canon and new stuff to Star Wars. It's like, it's a great honor to be able to do that.
But of course, we're all racist for pointing that out. Well, as Ben Kenobi says,
some things can't be forgotten.
And Disney can say 2 + 2 = 5 all they want. We will be here to point out that that's
yeah, and they shrunk John Boyega on the Chinese poster. Now it was bad form, and then they didn't do it on any of the posters after that. Can we move on? I swear, what does this even have to fucking do with anything? We're talking about Obi-Wan, not Force Awakens, bro.
Complete bullshit every single time. But because there is a synergy and a balance to the universe, while Disney Star Wars' Kenobi and Disney Marvel's Miss Marvel flop and flounder on a streaming service on the same week that Gina Carano premieres Terror on the Prairie.
Oh, fuck. Terror on the Prairie, box office smash hit. If everybody on the Daily Wire watched it, it made $10 million, roughly, which makes it an absolute bomb. Doesn't even cover the budget. Opening weekend, $804. What was what's the box office on that one? 13,000 box office. So roughly 10 million on the platform, assuming everybody on the Daily Wire platform watched it once. And 13,000 in the box office. Did not make its money. Complete fucking bomb. Gina Carano could have had her own Star Wars series. She could have. But instead, she's making bombs.
And that in itself is a victory. Hail Gina Carano. Hail to the fandom.
You got a funny definition of victories, bro.
I will see you in the next video.
Nerdrotic.
I love that he brought that up. I love that. Whew. That was a great way to end it. Okay. I kind of on that Obi-Wan wasn't really filling this thing out, but let's see. Justifying toxic point by point breakdown. Absolutely, he did that in all three. Complain about representation. I feel like he did that with Reva too. Yeah, he always did the smarky remarks. Always. Complain about women not taking traditional roles. I already got all three for it. Very dumb variations on names. Yeah, all of them. All of them. Various, yes. Pick a random article and win. Did he do that with Obi-Wan? He may not have done that with Obi-Wan. Remind me if he did that on Obi-Wan. Complain how it's not 100% faithful. Yeah, I think he kind of did that with Obi-Wan. Complain when they aren't original. Yeah, I'm sure he did that with all three. Silly voice. Yes. Double standards. He did that at least once. Bring up unrelated stuff. Yeah, he did that all the time. Outright lying. I'm going to go ahead and hit 3 on that one. I know he did that quite a bit. Random mean-spirited clips. Yeah, he did that for all three. Treating random part of them as fact. Yeah. Scared of women. Yeah, no. All three. Easy. Triggered by advice from women. Well, that's definitely Rings of Power right there. Random sound clips. I'm sure he did all three. We will break down more of this. Here, I didn't talk about the audience score on House of the Dragon because that was supposed to be a positive review, even though he just whinged about the whole time. Talking about ratings. But I feel like we're already getting a decent breakdown of how Nerdrotic does movie reviews. We will do more of this on Tuesday. I'm burnt out on Nerdrotic. I don't want any more. He's a mean-spirited fuck, and just seeing his misogyny nonstop. He is thick with misogyny. Just watching 3 of his videos back to back. Holy shit. Whew. Drop a couple of requests, guys. I am open. Send me your request and I will look it up. Yeah, there was a Bounding into Comics article. I only saw one, though. Maybe I should go ahead and just add that, because they all like to drop Bounding into Comics articles. So I'll just go ahead and add that. Bounding into Comics. Because I feel like when we cover more, we're going to get more of that.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.